Hi, this is Ron Johnson, your life leadership coach, health coach, motivational speaker, and welcome to another episode of Life's the Shuffle.
And this is Gloria, your life coach. Again, welcome to another episode of Life's a Shuffle. Um, Today, we'll discuss what to do when things just doesn't go as planned, or when things don't go your way. So, one of the hard things I realized is that one of the hard things in life sometimes is accepting that life sometimes doesn't go as planned. And, life sometimes it takes you in a different direction than planned. And there is simply nothing you can do but accept the disappointment. But I also believe that there are valid reasons that hides behind those, everything that happens. And in every disappointment, sometimes is a snapshot of which prevents you from making a wrong choice or even a worse choice. And it is something which will occasionally challenge you or us to become a better version of ourselves. Um, since we're discussing this, Ron, what do you do? What happens to you? What feelings or emotions comes up to you when something doesn't go your way or when something doesn't happen as planned for you?
You know what? So this reminds me of this where we took an IPEC, remember Energy Leadership Index.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, for those that don't know what it is, it's called ELI or Energy Leadership Index, and it's an assessment like Myers Briggs, but this one allows you to assess where you are when you are normal. Let's say happy, lucky, life is good. And the second also part is when you get angry and things don't happen or things in our case don't go your way. So this reminds me of a situation I had recently, and it just was less than 24 hours ago. So I talked about this before, maybe on the podcast, but I'll tell a brief story about it again. So those that don't know, I'm legally married and have been married for 13 years. And I would quote legally married as in the sense that I got married when I was 21. Obviously, it didn't last even 30 days. We filed for divorce, and I haven't talked to this person in probably 10 plus years up until recently. And when things happen, where in this case I was in Northern California, she was in Southern California, and we never filed on paperwork as far as getting divorced. It went to default and all that good stuff. It was just a mess. We just don't follow up, right? That's just what people do. If it's not easy, you don't do it, right? That's just human nature. So in this case, I finally got a hold of her, got a hold of paralegal, and processed paperwork. I was so excited. Okay, it's finally done. All right. No, we're not talking about, we never filed taxes together. Like I said, I haven't seen her in probably 13 years. Nothing we share, right? Our lives are pretty much totally separate at this point. I'm 37. She's probably like 45 now, I think. So got the paralegal, process paperwork, and here, this give you a description. I'm in Northern California, which is like Bay Area, San Francisco, San Jose. She's in Southern California, which is like Riverside, Orange County area, and there's LA in the middle. It was filed in LA. So anytime you have a case, you have to go back to the original file date unless it has been thrown out by a judge and you find wherever you want to file. In this case, it's filed in Los Angeles. So again, process paperwork, paralegal gets it. And obviously for me, because I want to make sure that this sucker is done, I don't want to waste any time. I already know the case number. I'm looking up daily. I mean, like 5 times a day. I'm like nonstop refresh. What is it saying? So finally on the 22nd, which was a couple of days ago, a judge got it. He got the packet. Nice processing. Cool. Great. It made it. Then obviously I kept refreshing from a couple of days ago till yesterday. And when I see yesterday was refreshed it and it says rejection. Holy cow. I mean, I didn't know what to do. That's honest. I just didn't know what to do because whole thought process, and this is what happens when you don't know what to do. See, we set expectations for a certain outcome. An outcome can be I land the job, or I study hard for a test, or I worked my butt off for 10 years, I should get promoted, and or I put a lot of effort into this relationship. How come we can't get married? All these things can happen, and usually they are attached to an expectation. We don't think about it when it's happening, but we set that the expectation. So in my case, I filed paperwork, I did my job, I'd hire a professional to get it processed. So my expectation is there's no children, there's no 401k plan, there's nothing. It should be a close cut deal. So the suffering came from myself because I set expectations. And when it failed and the judge rejected, why was it rejected? I don't know. The paralegal has to get paperwork, and we'll find out. It could be simple as updated address. It can be who knows what it can be, right? Because with court documents and legal lingo, I have no idea what they mean. You go to Google and it tops up 1,000 different things what it means, and you can't decipher which is which, right? So heads or
Hmm.
tails. So wait to hear from paralegal and go from there. So the reason why we create suffering out of what to do when we don't know what to do is because we are setting ourselves up for a certain outcome or certain expectation, which is attached to an outcome. So like A, expectation, B, the attachment, C, the outcome. So if I do A, I do B, it should equal C. Just that very simple as that. In this case, what happened, I was attached to the outcome. Everything's filed, process, done. It should be a close cut. It didn't. And boy, was I upset. I mean, I was really not like angry, I'm screaming, yelling, but just, I cannot believe it. What now? Because what happens is this, now here comes the C, then equate to A and B, she equals C. Now comes the D, I would say the dread. Now it's like, okay, what now? This is going to cost more money for a paralegal, more time wasted. I can't believe this is happening to me. What else now? This is a 13-year-old case. I mean, your mind, which is we call the ego or subconsciousness, wants to figure out a why for everything and why it's
Okay.
happening to me.
What were you? What type of feelings or emotions came up when you saw that?
It was anger. It's like, what the F? Like, what the hell are they doing? Like, why can't they just process the paperwork? Like, what's the difficulty? And again, like I said, you type the case number in online. It's not detailed. Okay, it's a freaking number. Whatever the number is, I have to Google it because I'm not a lawyer. Look it up, and obviously, our court system is just messed up. Okay, what should have happened? This is the 21st century. It was rejected. Okay. It should have been a login. You go into, you see the PDF that you cannot edit that shows why it's rejected. Because obviously, if the case number is public, so anybody has my case number can look it up. Why it was rejected? Look it up,
So,
unless
was
it was
there
blocked
no
by the courts.
explanation?
Like, there's only a freaking number that tells me what does it say. It says right now, notice rejection, request for default setting received. That's all it says. Rejection. What does that mean? Like, why was it
Yeah.
rejected? And that's what I'm saying. Our court system 24th century, man. People are digital, so it should have been why was ejected. Notes uploaded to the system. I looked at the PDF. Boom! I can exactly figure out why it was rejected. So then now I can figure out why it was rejected, so that I can start process paperwork. But now again, we have an old system because she was petitioner as a respondent means I'm the defendant. She has to get the paperwork. My paralegal then has to call the courthouse to their correspondent get the paperwork, which costs you more money because they have to do the work for you because I'm not there. So here comes all this pissed off frustration of is why the hell is this happening? I've already wasted my money. I wasted my time. All the old feelings that I went through 13 years ago dealing with her. Not a bad thing, but just process dealing with her comes up. You can't believe it's happening. But I'll tell you something that's funny. If I waited 13 years to file a divorce, what doesn't matter another 6 months? That's exactly what I said to myself. Shit, if I waited 13 years, what's another 6 months? Like, really, you have to laugh to yourself. Yeah, really. If you're waiting 13 years, what is another 6 months or 90 days or
Hmm.
whatever it takes to get it done? I really applaud the paralegal. They call me up. They probably obviously when you see this, they probably knew because they probably done with cases like this or worse, how I'm feeling. And she says, look, she has a really nice UK accent. So it's like really soothing. I understand
Hmm.
why. So, she says, don't look it up. We'll take care of it. We'll wait to see the paperwork. We have to look into detail. They're going to get overwhelmed and stop looking it up. I say, you know what? I'm sorry. You cut me red handed because I was looking it up. We both started laughing because I was creating, again, my own frustration. I'm looking it up, creating an anticipation that AB will equal C. And when AB didn't equal C, it actually equal D, which is not the outcome I wanted. That's when I created my own suffering. So when things don't go your way, in reality, you created that suffering. It's not like it just you created because you had some attachment to an expectation. So what do you think about that, Gloria? Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. And it's funny that you talk about that, and it's true because we do tend to create an attachment, and then there's also those expectations, right? But okay, again, we go back to you having this awareness, and you're able to think about this. We have a lot of people out there that doesn't have that kind of awareness. and they react to it. And sometimes they don't know what to do, so they get heated, and they don't know what to do with the emotions that's coming up for them, and then they get overwhelmed, right? And a lot of times, and I'd say I'm guilty of that before before I have, like you, with all this awareness, and I'm able to just kind of sit back and think all the thoughts that's coming up. But the first thing is, what's the first thing that usually comes up for us is anger, and we react to that. And we see so many people doing that.
So here's a really kind of the emotions come up because things didn't go our way. Let's take that first in the context. Things didn't go our way, which created this emotion. So if things went our way, the emotion would be happiness. So if I looked at the court case and it says prove, I'd be so elated because my attachment to a certain outcome had happened. So either way, we created our own emotional, be it positive, negative. In this case, if it had been approved, happy, happy, go lucky, I would open a brand new bottle of wine and I got drunk at home. Okay, shelter in
Hmm.
place. It got rejected. I'm pissed off. It's a simple fight or flight response. I'm pissed off. I want to fight.
Hmm.
And humans are created from emotion. Some emotional people are emotional. They scream, they yell. Some people are emotional. They think about process stuff. And obviously, we all, so unless you're aware of it, we all think of I call it who, what, when, where, how. We want to think of a reason. How did it happen? Where did it happen? How did it happen? And what we can do about it, right? We want to create what these outcomes and what happened with me. In my case, I'm creating all these possibilities. Is that reason why I was rejected? It wasn't rejected because we love each other and we're trying to get back together. Okay, that's not happening.
Hmm.
Okay, it was rejected for maybe a small technicality, and I will never forget my dad saying this. And I'll answer your question second here, that in life things are always small, and it's really true. It got rejected, but I'm making a bigger issue out of it than reason. I don't know what reason it was. It could be simple as my name was misspelled. It could be as simple as things her name was misspelled. It can be as simple as that my address is incorrect. It can be as simple as that. Okay, well, where's the paperwork for the respondent? Being me, where's the paperwork at? It can be that simple.
Hmm. It could be so many things. It
It can be
really
so many
could be.
things. But my dad always told me, son, in life, things are always simple. It's always simple, but it's us, our minds, and our emotions that create a bigger bomb out of a small thing.
We make it more complicating for
We make
ourselves.
it more complicated. We make it more painful. See, if I didn't have this awareness, like you talked about earlier, about and had to laugh about it, we create a more domino effect. So if I didn't wasn't aware how to shift my emotions and think it will be resolved and we'll get through it and just relax, the emotion of anger will get bigger and bigger. Like yesterday, someone called me at the same time, got the bad news, and I was frustrated with the person that called me. It was a creditor about something that I was trying to get resolved that wasn't my issue. I'm going around and around, getting more and more irritated. And I finally says, look, I know I'm responsible for this. I'll pay it because I want you to call me again. That's exactly my voice was. And I wasn't responsible. I returned this item. They said they didn't get it. I've tracked information. They put on my credit report. So I was angry at the dude. And guess what? The dude had nothing to do with this. He was just calling his job. But I was angry at the cause, the fact I didn't get my rejection.
Hmm.
So in order to bring awareness to something and awareness of what's happening, you have to think from the root. And remember, we create our own suffering. That's just reality. So we have to look at the roots. So if you're going through a situation right now at home, whatever it is, every obstacle you're going through, okay, this happened. Now, why did it happen? Don't even think about that because you can think a million different reasons why. I can be a million different reasons why this got rejected, divorce. I'm gonna look back at the root cause. See, the suffering comes from within, not outer. See, outer is I got rejected, but yet the suffering is internal because I create the internal suffering, which is I'm upset and I'm frustrated. Can't believe this happened to me. Why can't we just move on? So what you can do in that case, I like I did, I went back to the root problem. Ron, what happened? Why do you feel this way? Well, I set myself up for expectation. Then I realized I set myself up for expectation with attachment. Then I set myself up for expectation to an attachment for a certain outcome. I did all of that. The rejection of the judge that signed it, he has no idea my feeling is. Obviously, paralegal does because they've done with this stuff. They dealt with it before, but they had no idea how I was feeling. And at the same time, now here comes the call it the ego mind, which is the small self, which creates more suffering. Now I'm thinking about all these past crap that happened 13 years ago. I'm
So all
serious.
that started coming back to you.
All that started coming up, like I was throwing up and eating it again. All this is coming up by mind. I can't believe this. I can't. So the way you do this is I take the Buddha's approach. Everything's okay. Laughing Buddha. Everything's okay. This divorce, just like I told you guys earlier. If I waited 13 years to file for it, what makes the difference of another 6 months or 90 days or 2 weeks? What makes the difference? Nothing. Because if I really wanted to resolve that, I should have resolved it 13 years ago, but I didn't. But now I want to resolve it, and I want to resolve it fast. So again, I create an expectation of trying to resolve this issue fast. I want to resolve in a certain time period. Why? I just want to resolve. With or without her here, my life is still moving on, but I want this issue resolved. So again, I created another attachment to I do everything properly, it's filed properly, and the expectation to attachment is it should be approved.
Hmm. Yeah. So that, and it could be also as simple as just for the day, when you set expectations for the day and it doesn't go as planned or it doesn't go your way. Like and I'd give a simple example for that. So, like yesterday, I had my day set, right? So, like at this hour, this is what's going to happen. Then the next hour, this is what's going to happen. And I'm going to be here at this time. So, I had my day set. Now, by the afternoon, the first half of the day went well. Now, the second half of the day, it didn't go as planned because there's other things that kind of set that back or that push my time back. Um, how did I feel? I was a little bit irritated. I was annoyed because then, like what you're saying is you set yourself up and you set a certain expectations. And because now it wasn't going my way or it wasn't going where I wanted it to be, I started getting irritated. So one was, let's say, yesterday we had something fun for the kids at volleyball camp, right? So by the end of the day, we'll give them pizza. We'll have pizza for them after. So I volunteered. I said, let me go pick up the pizzas, right? So I go in. We've pre-ordered. I go in. It was about maybe let's say 5:35. Okay, so my expectation was to go there. It's supposed to be picked up at 5:45, but I was expecting it to be done already before 5:45 because a lot of the time it's already ready for you to pick up. So even if you're 5-10 minutes early, it's already there waiting for you. So then I go into the pizza place. I forgot my mask. I was already a little bit frustrated because the second half of my day wasn't already going as planned and it was hot. So I was a little bit heated. But I walk in and I forgot my mask. So I wasn't thinking, and the employee then looked up before I said something. I opened my mouth, and before a word came out of my mouth, she immediately said, I didn't like her tone, the way she said it. She said, I'm sorry. She didn't even say I'm sorry, actually. She said, you don't have a mask. And then I said, you know what? You're right. I said, I completely forgot my mask. She goes, you need to get it. We can't serve you unless you have a mask. So then that got me even more frustrated. I walk out, got my mask, right? In the car, put it on. I went back inside. And then I gave the receipt. I said, I'm here to pick up this many boxes of pizza. And then she looked at it again with the attitude. And she said, you're not supposed to pick it up until 5:45. I said, okay, it's 5:35. I have 10 minutes. Do you not have it ready yet? She goes, no, it's not supposed to be picked up till 5:45. So the time is 5:45. And I was like, okay, so what do you want me to do? She goes, well, then you have to come back. I said, no, I'm not coming back because it's a drive here. Then you'd have to wait for it. I said, so you expect me to wait 10 minutes for these many boxes of pizzas? Are you going to make 6 boxes of pizza in 10 minutes? Is that what you're telling me? Because you don't have it ready and you don't have one out there right now for me to get? She goes, your pickup time is 5:45. You're too early. I'm like, oh my God, I was
Wow.
furious by then. So I leave, I walk out, I sat in the car, and I'm thinking, what just had happened there? Why didn't I started going down to her level? Why did I start talking to her that way? Why was she talking to me like that? And why was she kind of treating me that way? Then I realized, you know what? I cooled off. I was sitting in the car while I was waiting, and I was thinking about this. She was just doing her job. I
That's
had to
that's
look.
that you have to look at a different perspective, right?
Right. I had to look at it that way. She was just doing her job. You know, it was clear. I get it. I understand. I walked in without my mask, and it does say there you can't no mask, no entry, which but I totally forgot. But anyways, I had to think, and I realized she was just doing her job. So all those thoughts came up, and those feelings, anger. I was frustrated, but I was taking it. I started taking it out on her. You know. But anyways, I went back in there a little past 5:45. I gave it a little bit more time, and with it I walked in with a different attitude.
So it makes you so by you changing yourself made all the difference. Is that what you're saying?
Mhm. It really did. And I sat in the car and waited 10, 15. I gave myself at least, let's say, about 15 minutes to give it some thoughts, and to just really I really did this. Honestly, I just sat there, I'm like, thinking to myself, what just had happened there? Why was I reacting this way? Why was, what happened to me today? Because things the last half of my day wasn't going as I planned it to be. Now, when you set that expectations for yourself and it doesn't go your way, that's what happens. So I had expectations, and because I planned it, I wanted it exactly the way I had planned it. But then I realized that sometimes in life it's not going to happen like that, and there's going to be disappointment, and it's accepting that and realizing it. And yeah, and just taking a step back and just thinking about it. But it really did made a difference, my attitude, and even her when I walked back in, the way she was talking to me and the way and her service toward, with me was different.
It is one fundamental thing I read in the Healing and Recovery and Probably Letting Go. Suffering in the end only proves to be self-suffering. So right then and there, we went in the car and waited for 10 minutes for your pizza, or a little after 10 minutes. You realize, okay, she's only doing her job. It's like, okay, well, if I look in her perspective, right, changing the viewpoints
Hmm.
instead of your filter, which is you better serve me now. I'm here. What's taking so long? I'm with my pizza. I expect to be there 10 minutes early and get my pizza because sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Who knows what's going on in the back? Or
Right.
they're like, maybe before people were showing up early and they're like, look, you only serve the pizza to keep down the traffic on time. You don't want people showing up. Because what if someone came in at 5:35, they had time for 5:35, you're there at 5:35 too. They're like, wait a minute, we only want one customer at a time to get the pizza. Or maybe that they have a certain amount of cool down time before they serve the pizza. But see, again, these are all the things we can look at. But it's funny how also not only did you shift your energy by going to your car, thinking about things in a different perspective, it calmed you down. Thus, when you went in there the second time to pick your pizza, you came in with a different energy. It projected on her as a different energy, and she responded in a better manner than the first time. First time you went in there, you probably went in there. I gotta get this pizza. I get back here. You're in a hurry,
Hmm.
which means you're on time, which means you have a desire to be somewhere at a certain time. So all this energy that's kind of negative, even though you don't think about it being negative, but it is, show up. Then she feels that. Then here comes a confrontation with the mask thing and all that kind of good stuff. But it's a simple thing as in the end, suffering only proves to be self-suffering. You created your own suffering.
Hmm.
No difference than what I did with my divorce paperwork. I created my own suffering. The judge doesn't give a damn. The lawyer, they're still getting paid, right?
Right.
So I created my own suffering, and it screwed me up for 4 to 5 hours. I couldn't get my workout in because I get a break between my workout. I'm like, I deal with this crap, what's going to happen, and it only proved to be self suffering.
And what it is with yours was where I find it a little bit more tougher, and that's why I understand the frustration on your end, is because in the past week everything was going well, right, with the process. Okay, she signed it, submitted, it's been accepted, so now it's being processed. So now the expectations of, you're going through this step by step, and it looks like everything is going smoothly throughout, let's say, the week.
Hmm.
So your expectations, it's going to get approved, we're going to get this done and we'll be done by then. And then that day came, and it wasn't it, because it kind of set you up to where, since that step by step was going well, it was setting you up to, that feeling of, it's going to be approved, everything is going so well, what can go wrong, right?
Yep.
So whereas for me it's just that one day, but look how what one day can do also.
Yep.
And again, I made it harder on myself and made it complicating for myself because I had my days set.
Likewise, I had set on a certain expectation, a certain attachment to an outcome that if all pieces are in place, one, two, three, four pieces, then the fourth piece should be simple. And it wasn't, and that became more suffering, self suffering.
Yeah. So, and all it is process your thoughts and emotions, and acknowledge it. Acknowledge your thoughts. And I believe that, looking back now to my experiences yesterday, is I know that's what I did. I acknowledged my thoughts and I let it process. Just kind of breathe, and then I realized, okay, she's just doing her job. It's me. It's not her, it's me.
And,
And
and go ahead, go ahead.
no, no, no. Go ahead. I have a question after this for you, but go ahead.
You know what? So that proves one thing is that we don't ever give, we just react. So everybody spends their life reacting to everything. The things don't go your way, you react. If we just took that 5 to 10 minutes, really processing, think about things in a clear manner, the suffering that we create for ourselves or people around us will prove to be a lot better process if we just thought about it first rather than just reacting. It's that simple fight or fight response. Well, I don't like what I get, so I reacted, which is that kind of a response to a fight or flight, and upset or run or whatever it is. And it's proves right then and there. If you just took those 5 or 10 minutes, relaxed, breathe, thought things through, maybe it takes 2 minutes, it'd be a lot better. But most people don't.
Hmm. You know what else helped me a little bit too is, at that time I was in the car, was I was venting. I was venting to somebody else. So I vented to the other coach.
Hmm.
And the other coach was at the location and training some girls. So he wasn't able to talk to me, but I was texting and sending the text. Oh my God, I'm here. This is taking forever because this is what's happening. When I let that out, and then after that, I sat down again, and I started thinking. So the venting also helped. So we're here. We're talking about how we have this awareness, and how we're able to shift, from negative to positive thoughts. Now, how do let me ask you this: how do you stay positive when things aren't going your way? What can we tell our listeners
How do I stay positive
when
when
things
things
aren't
don't go my way?
right?
So this is how.
Or hold on, let me change that. If not going your way, or when things aren't going as planned, I guess that's almost the same.
So I read a really good book in COVID, or shelter in place. Sorry, I don't know why I even say sorry again. Why am I apologizing? But I read a book called Obstacles Away. So just because something happens to you, be you deem it right, wrong, good or bad, it's up to you. But what makes a difference is your emotions, which you can't control. Okay. So I read this book called Obstacles Away. So when things don't go your way, an obstacle is placed in front of you, you can either go or over it, under, left, or right. Or a lot of times these obstacles are put in front of you to help say, hey, look, this path isn't the way, make a right turn. Have you ever seen a sign that says dead end? Make a right turn? Obstacles that come in front of you are there to actually help you, not hurt you. So if you take the context of the sentence, things happen for me rather than to me. I'll say it again. Things happen for me rather than to me. That right there, just saying, hey, this happened for me, not to me, is a simple energy shift.
It's a huge difference between the two statement.
Huge difference.
Hmm.
So when you look at obstacles placed in front of me, like mine was rejected. I'm not happy about it. Okay. Just because we're life coaches and just because we've done all this awareness, it's a continued progress. We are prone to humanness, which is anger, emotions, frustration, pissed off, happy, sad, whatever. We're humans and we're acceptable to this term. We're acceptable to all that stuff. So when I said, when my rejection letter came through, wasn't in the way, I wasn't happy, but the first intuition was, remember, now when you're going through something that doesn't feel good, even though the intuition or that other part of your brain says, "Hey, everything be okay." So my thing was, like I go back to my dad said when I was a kid, son, things in life are very small. I'm making a big deal out of something that can be very small, and that's how you have to look at things. Are you making a big deal out of something that's very small? What are you really going to get out of it? So I'm up here pissed off, upset, I got rejected. What am I going to get out of it? Nothing. It's going to ruin my day, ruin my weekend. But I always said obstacles away. So this happened for me, not to me. So maybe this has got the process going faster so I can be done with it. I don't know. And also, I take the Laughing Buddhist approach. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing, but either way, I'm fine. That's all. Changing how changing how the content is in context will be the difference how you react to something. The difference in the pizza situation. When you took what's happened to you and different content and a different context. The content is I went in there to get my pizza. The context is I went there and got my pizza, but now I'm upset because you didn't have it ready on time. At the same time, you had took the opportunity to vent to somebody can be the difference in shifting what you deem to be right, wrong, negative, positive as a benefit for you. And that makes the difference between each individual situation.
Hmm. Wow.
Did I say it too much? Say a lot?
No, but that's good. I like that. That was a good one.
And that makes all the difference. Trust me about that. Makes all because remember, like I said again, suffering only proves in the end to be self-suffering. My situation, your situation, or any situation happens, it's only proves to be self-suffering because you take the content and develop the context and then develops the feeling behind the context of something that happened to you, whatever it is.
Hmm. Hmm. And it really is just, and no, it, I guess this could be in every situation, no matter how long it is. So between your story and mine happened just within a day. Yours lingered for a while, right? Because everything was going well. And it really is just taking a step back and evaluating it.
Yep. If you take it, like I said earlier, if you take a step back, really think it through. Don't just react. I mean,
Hmm.
our whole world right now, I don't care what's going on in your life, we're reacting to things. Ooh, I get a bill in the mail, I'm pissed off. I got a bill in the mail. Right? Instead of say, okay, let me understand what's really going on here. What's coming up pretty soon is big fairy ball tax I do the 15th. And people are reacting, oh, I gotta pay taxes, or I gotta do this. Sometimes, if you're lucky to pay taxes, I have to pay taxes. I feel good. Because some people out there, they can't pay taxes. So when I write a check out for the government, I feel good. Plus, it's what you have to do. It's not like something new. It's not like all of a sudden someone says, hey, tomorrow you got to pay taxes and you got to pay taxes in your life. No, it's part of business. It's part of having a job. You got to pay taxes. So if you're paying taxes and your taxes go up year over year, maybe you make more money. Some people might make that kind of money. But again, how you perceive things only proves to be self-suffering in the end. And how you, like I said, taxes right now, I just changed my mind that, hey, well, I feel lucky to pay taxes because some people get money back, which is great. But some people, that means they didn't make enough money or didn't pay enough money over the year. I'm happy to pay taxes, no problem. Not a big deal. This is what I have to do to have a business, and life goes on.
Mm-hmm.
See, I try
And
not to stay in certain mindsets for too long, because if you stay in the mindset too long, it becomes very callous and hard, and you can't get over it. And that's what proves again to be self-suffering.
right, but just also remember that your first reaction, whatever that is, that's normal.
Yes.
It's pretty normal to have that, like let's say your first reaction would be anger, frustration. That's normal. It's going to come up. You can't, it's going to happen. So then let that happen. And then that's when you kind of take a step back and then you think things through, let it
Yes.
process.
The emotion will be there because, like I said earlier, we took this ELI assessment. So regardless of how I go in life, that reaction, which is when I go through stuff, is frustration, upset, pissed off. That would happen. That's just my natural genetic makeup or my natural makeup as a person. But over time, I work my way through it. Like 24 hours later, I feel much better about it than I did yesterday when I got the bad news. Again, what I didn't need bad news, I wanted good news. Because either way, if it was good, I've been so happy. If it's bad, now I'm so down. Either way, I give power to those emotions, be it if it was approved, happy. If it's negative, sad. I give power to those emotions. Entirely, they mean nothing. So I hope you guys understand here by listening to podcasts that we are total control of our own thoughts, our own processes, our own feelings, our reactions, and everything in only proves to be self-suffering. So while we give so much power to attachments, to expectations, to outcomes, and when they don't happen or go our way, we get frustrated, we get upset. And sometimes it's maybe for our benefit. And sometimes maybe it's helping us go another way we don't see 5 years from now. So maybe a certain path is pushing us a different direction so that way we can get to a different path. I'll give you one last example. When I remember this, when I found out a coworker of mine was making 14% more than me base salary, I had two choices. I can go confront my boss, being pissed off. Because remember, 14 years base salary more than, sorry, 40% more base salary. I had just about 7 years seniority over this person. I'm glad it happened to me. If it didn't happen to me, I would not be sitting here shooting this podcast. I would not have a fitness business. I would become a life coach. But when it happened to me in 2016, it's now 2020. I didn't see 4 years down the road. We can't see that. But it happened to me to help me. I just didn't see it at that time. I hope you guys understood what to do when things do not go your way, because simple processing, shifting energy can give you more power, more energy. As always, this is Ron Johnson, your life leadership coach, motivational speaker, health coach. I'm here to inspire you.
And just remember when you do run into a situation that things doesn't go as planned for you, just see this as an obstacle to overcome. Don't dwell on the bad things, dwell on the good things in your life. And just you'll have to see all the good and just see the good in it. And above all, just have faith and turn those fears or angers into power, action, and patience. And again, this is Gloria, your life coach. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Life's a Shuffle.